Hi everyone, welcome to another video series on my channel here, my ParkJet channel. In this series I'm going to shoot a few videos, three videos so far on this new transmitter, which I'll talk about here briefly, and then this as an upgrade that I'm going to do. I have a second radio. This is the Turnigy 9X. I have a second one of these that I picked up on sale a few years ago, and it hasn't had anything done to it. So I'm going to do an upgrade on that, which I'm going to talk about. So this will kind of be, I guess, giving you sort of maybe two options. I shot a video in my ParkJet workshop series where I just briefly sort of discussed thoughts to consider about transmitters, and I didn't really specifically recommend any brand, and I'm not really here to recommend that you go out and buy either one of these, but I'm just going to evaluate these. This is the FlySky FS-i6, which is a very inexpensive radio, and it's also brand new to me. So I'm going to be doing an evaluation of that because it's very inexpensive, to see if it's a good starter radio that's going to kind of get you in the hobby and maybe keep you there for the whole time, depending on sort of how advanced you might want to get. So this did arrive. I picked this one up from Banggood. It was on sale. Came with this receiver, which is actually quite an advanced receiver. It's an FS-i6B, which has the ability to have telemetry, which I'll probably never use, but for some reason it had a better price with this advanced receiver than it did with the basic receiver. So the regular price on them with the receiver from Banggood, anyway, it's about $75, and I picked mine up for about $42. You have another option of buying it with a less capable receiver. I would suggest you don't necessarily have to buy it as a package, because when I did a little bit of shopping, the basic radio right now is about $37 on sale. The full price is $46, so that's the transmitter without a receiver. But then you can buy an inexpensive receiver that's very, very similar. Other than the label, it's identical to this one that I use for my Turnigy 9X for about $10.50. So for $57, just under $57, you get what they normally charge $75 for. So do a little bit of shopping around. As well, these are widely available on eBay. So you might be able to find a better deal for them on eBay, again, if you shop around. So I'm just going to talk briefly here about the two different options. So obviously I've already mentioned this is very inexpensive. I know there are lots of people that use it for ParkJets and are very, very happy with it. I did, hand on heart, I admit, I couldn't help myself. Like a kid at Christmas time, I've already gone in and played around with it. With a plane, and sort of figured out, and I'm very, very happy to report that it meets the criteria that I like for most of my ParkJets, where I have elevons, independent ailerons. In other words, the ailerons only work in the roll axis; they don't work in the pitch with the elevons as well, plus a separate rudder. So, and I don't need to use a onboard mixer, servo reversers, anything like that. I can do it all in the transmitter, and it's actually surprisingly straightforward. So in the next video about this transmitter, I'm going to go into a basic setup on how to do that, and then an advanced video sort of with a plane, and then showing how we would fine-tune our surfaces to get them to move exactly the way we want, to get our plane to fly the way we want. So the other sort of pathway possibly is, I found another video by the Flight Brothers, where they show how you take a Turnigy 9X, which currently sells full regular price for $70. All these amounts are US dollars, and it comes with a receiver. This it's actually different than this one. It's a newer protocol, but it comes with an 8-channel receiver, ready to fly out of the box. But Flight Brothers showed a video where they actually bought a little $4 tiny USB setup, installed that in the transmitter, and then were able to flash with, it takes a little bit of soldering and that sort of stuff, but they were able to flash this transmitter with OpenTX, which is what the FrSky essentially uses, like a Taranis QX7, the Horus, all of that sort of stuff. So that will be, for $25 more would be possibly be, you know, depending on if you're looking what money to spend, either, you know, if your budget's really restrictive, stay this way, or then just start off with this, upgrade it, and then you probably will never have to change the transmitter again. You know, either way, both of these combined are not going to cost you a whole lot of money. You know, so anyway. So that's sort of the two options that I'm going to kind of look at. But I'm going to focus primarily on reviewing this first because it is so inexpensive. So I'll just set that to the side for now. So again, it comes with this receiver, 6-channel receiver. It is capable of 6 channels. It has 4 hardwired channels, aileron, elevator, throttle, obviously, and rudder, and then 2 aux channels that you can mix in order to get your other setup. I'm not going to show any of the setups right in this video for sure, and then some of the basic setups. There's a great video, and I'm going to link it down below, done by Andrew Newton. He actually did, I think, a series of 3 videos on this transmitter, and his original one, which I think is called Best Beginner Radio, he does a far better job than I could do of showing how to just navigate the basics, like how to select a model, change the name, even how to change the protocol. I will mention one of the things that really attracted me about this is you can change the protocol, so I can use all of my receivers that I have already for my Turnigy 9X. So I bought one with a receiver just to evaluate it, but I will be able to use all of these already, and I've already checked to see, and it works just fine. And the other cool thing is if you had a mixture of, you know, these style and this style, is you can have program each plane specifically the way you want it. You don't necessarily have to change the protocol to one and then all your planes have to be on that protocol. You can actually do it individually, which is a really cool thing. So it's 6-channel. The one big lesson that I've learned so far is I was so excited and I pulled the trigger on it and bought it, and because I was, you know, it was on sale, I wanted to make sure I got the sale, is you can upgrade the firmware. There's a cable that you can buy from Banggood for about $4, plugs in, it's got like a bullet connector or a barrel connector on the one end with 4 or 5 pins, I think, and then a USB driver port on the other end. And for about $4, there's a few firmware upgrades you can do. The most important one that I want to do is, I was so excited I forgot to check to see if it has a timer. It doesn't have a timer. And a timer is important to me because you know, I get flying around, I get all excited, and I forget. And if it weren't for the timer, I'd probably run my batteries down way too low. So the timer is a crucial thing for me. So the unfortunate thing is, because I didn't buy the cable and the radio at the same time, I'm probably going to be waiting another month for that so that I can upgrade that firmware. Pardon me. You can also upgrade the firmware, yeah, with telemetry, and also you can expand it up to a 10-channel radio if you want, and then you can use you know, the 10-channel receivers, FlySky 10-channel receivers. I'm not going to do that, the telemetry or the 10-channel, but I definitely will do the upgrade. And I'm not going to show you how I do that. I'm just going to, you know, probably write a blog post and tell you how it went. And I will have a blog post down below with a bunch of links, you know, and describing some other things about this. So it, you know, for let's call it a $40 radio, essentially, if you get it on sale. It's super capable. It has a 20 model memory, so you can have up to 20 models in here. Even with ER9X flashed on this bad boy, I've only got 16. The capability of having 16 planes, and if I have far too many mixes, it chews up my memory, and I might not be able to do that. I don't think there's a memory limitation on this one. It comes with 3 different mixes, and those mixes are actually separate. You have the capability to set up elevons and V-tails in here, and then still have mixes, which in my second video I'm going to show you how I mixed independent ailerons in, and have elevons and then independent ailerons. It's actually pretty straightforward. You've got 4 switches, and these are all programmable. You've got 3 2-position switches and 1 3-position, which is actually really cool for a $40 radio. You've got a couple of variometers here that you can adjust things, you know, if you wanted, you know, flaps or any of that sort of stuff. I'm just going to leave these turned to off, which is a lesson that I learned when I was playing around with the setup. It has you know, the sticks are actually pretty decent. I'm actually probably going to replace these with sort of a little bit longer, pardon me, a metal stick, because I tend to fly like a modified pinch. But that'll be something that I just get used to. They're certainly, you know, smooth. They're not, I don't feel any binding on them. You know, so we'll just see how it takes a few flights to get used to the feel of a transmitter. So I did have I have a look through. It comes with this, you know, like a quick start guide, and it's fairly helpful. There's a little, you know, there is a quick reference chart in here that tells you the basic specifications. One of the things that I'll be keeping an eye on is it has, I'll just going to turn it on here real quickly. It does have a graphic up here that shows you what your transmitter battery level is at, which is kind of handy. It will signal an alarm when you're down to 4.2. It uses 4 AA batteries. I will probably long term, I just threw some sort of batteries I had laying around, and I will probably long term use these rechargeable ones. You know, you buy the little unit, plug 4 into it, you plug it into the wall, and you can recharge it. So I'll probably use these long term, and then that way, you know, after flying, I'll be able to just come home, plop these into the charger, charge them overnight, and be ready to go again the next day. Now, I'm certainly not going to be replacing my Turnigy 9X with this, but I'd want to give it a good thorough evaluation. So this is, you know, fairly helpful. A lot of descriptive stuff in it. It's in English and Chinese. I also looked at, saved there's a PDF file on the Banggood website with the owner's manual and you know, a bit of stuff in there. But like I said, the best way I think to learn, go watch Andrew Newton's video, Best Beginner Radio. He explains it in a way far better than I could. It really is helpful. Yeah, so it's light. Even with the batteries, it only weighs about 460 grams. You can see in relation to my 9X, it's you know, it's quite a bit smaller on the face, and then if you look side on, you know, it's quite a bit thinner this way. So it will take a little while for me to get used to my transmitter being so light and you know, much thinner in my hands. But you know, again, that will just take some time. I'll have the playlist that this video is going to go into with all of Andrew Newton's videos. The video that I'm going to use to upgrade this transmitter, if that's something, again, you want to look at that and think, oh, am I going to be capable of doing the soldering that I need to do to be able to put the little tiny USB in. I'm also going to put a video, if you're one of those people that like to know all the technical details and how the guts look in this. Bruce Simpson from RC Model Reviews in New Zealand, he did a great video on this, pulled the back off it. It actually has 2 antennae, which is really kind of cool. There's one that comes straight up in this little nub, and then there's another one, I can't remember which side it's on, but it's in the handle here, so it actually goes 90 degrees to this one. So you have a bit of diversity there, so that's really, really cool. Yeah, so that's kind of the intro. Again, I'm going to initially just focus on this, but there's going to be, the possibility of 2 separate paths here. This one, by the time I get the cable, because I got it on sale, I'll be into it for under 50 bucks. If I was to start off brand new, plus buying the little upgrade chip, I'd be at about 75 bucks for this one, so about 25 bucks difference. But with OpenTX, this will certainly be a far more powerful radio from a standpoint of mixes and all of that sort of stuff. Plus you've got 7 switches and 3 variometers on this one as compared to this. But I think this is if you were wanting to get in, you didn't want to spend a whole lot of money to because you're not really sure, or let's say you have a young person in your house and you want to pick them up a transmitter. I think that this is going to be a good option. So we're going to go through a couple of videos on how I'm going to set that up for my park jets, and then obviously do some evaluation at the field. So there we go, folks. This is the intro sort of to my inexpensive park jet transmitter series, I guess, if you want to call it that. And I hope that some of this stuff as we go along will be very helpful. Again, please check out the links down below. Check out the other videos in the playlist. I strongly encourage you to go watch Andrew Newton's videos, especially the Best Beginner Radio one, because it really opened my eyes to the capabilities of this inexpensive transmitter. So thanks very much for watching. Blue skies, calm winds to everyone. Park jet noise, the other sound of freedom, baby. Take care.